So good morning, everyone. For anyone who's just joining us, my name is John. I am the admissions rep for Ocean County College currently. What we're going to do is we're going to exit out of those. And we're going to talk a little bit about the college at a glance. I'm going to go through some of the faculty that we have, some of the student services that we have. I'm going to talk a little bit about enrolling, and then I'm going to open up to questions at the end. If you have any questions throughout, just raise your hand. I'm happy to answer them. Also, I tend to talk a mile a minute, so if anything comes out too fast, just say, Johnny, slow down. So I want to start with a video that we have of the college. Obviously, you guys went on a great tour, but this is a really great glimpse of the college when we're in session during the week.
Look around. Everything is changing, and Ocean County College is on the leading edge. The continuing evolution of higher education puts OCC in position for sustained growth and increasing prominence. That's because where students start no longer dictates where they end up. At Ocean County College, you can start here, go anywhere, and with the way higher education is evolving, colleges like OCC are poised to be more relevant and in demand than ever before. We are a launch pad, sending our students out into the world to do great things.
It really gives you the tools to pursue what you want in life.
The help that they give me is crucial for my development.
OCC has helped me a lot academically and financially.
Nearly 70% of our graduates enroll at a four-year institution within a year of their graduation from OCC. OCC offers everyone a chance to learn. Our foundation awards over $500,000 a year in scholarship support, making education even more affordable. It's about academics, but here it's also about a better life. Our goal is to help students assume responsibility for their own behavior, develop their own skills through experiences, and become aware of their own strengths. And our students love it. In a 2016 survey, 98% of our students said they'd highly recommend OCC to family and friends. This is the real college experience, with 13 intercollegiate sports teams and 16 NJCAA national championship bids in just the last few years and counting. We have more than 60 on-campus clubs and student organizations, and 40 student activity clubs funded through the Student Union.
There's something for everybody here. It's an awesome opportunity to start your college education.
Our diverse student body has created a welcoming community for all, and Ocean County College hosts a world of experiences for the entire community. The Grunin Center for the Arts, the Novins Planetarium, continuing education for lifelong learners, and summer camp for kids. But it's more than that. When you become a part of OCC's future becomes a part of you.
OCC is more of a family at this point. It prepares you not only academically for your future, but socially as well.
You couldn't get anything better than here.
So this is part of, this information session is part of our Inlet series, which I'm sure you guys all got posters on. This is our general information session. We're going to have a couple other throughout the year, and like I said, this is a series. So if you wanted to come back and learn more about financing your education, you can come in and we'll have representatives from EOF, we'll have representatives from NJ Stars, we'll have them from the foundation, we'll have them from financial aid. I'm going to go into each of those a little bit today, but they'll be able to give you a more cohesive glance. We're going to have one for Getting a Student Life, so we'll be able to talk to you more about our study abroad programs. We'll have a representative here from Student Life to tell you about the clubs and organizations, and we'll have our someone from the athletic staff as well to come and talk about our sports. We have a transferring one as well. That one's going to focus on transferring out of OCC, our Cane Ocean partnership, which again we'll talk about a little bit today, and the Lampet Law, which we'll talk about too, and that protects all of your credits in New Jersey. So obviously, please come back and visit us. We also have an NJ Stars information session for anyone who thinks they might be eligible. Again, going into that a little bit today, but we will have the NJ Stars representative here, or the NJ Stars coordinator here, to talk a little bit about the documentation that needs to be filed, and we'll have the financial aid person here as well. There are a couple things that I'm going to point our attention to. The first is the price per credit. It's $147.50 per credit currently, and that's a pretty modest rate. So if we're looking at a full semester's worth of classes, which is about 15 credits, I believe we're just under $2,500 for that semester, which is great. $2,500 is typically the price of one class at another institution, so again, that is a pretty modest rate. And the student to faculty ratio is on the next slide. It's 26:1. So the classes aren't too much unlike what you're used to in high school. Also, if we look up here, we'll see just about 50% of the county starts at Ocean County College, and they transfer out to the four-year afterwards. So a lot of people were worried, like, oh, I really want to go away. My friends aren't going there. A good chunk of them do come to us first. And a lot of people do go away, and then they decide it might not be for them. They're kind of homesick, and they come back to us. So it is nice to know that when you're coming to Ocean County College, there is a solid cohort of friends here, so you're not really going into this entirely by yourself. Some more fast facts about the college. 98% indicated they would highly recommend Ocean County College, so that's really great for an approval rate. That's just about everyone would recommend. A lot of people wonder why continue for higher ed. You can go right into a trade, you can go right into other professions and stuff like that. If we look over here, we'll see that high school graduates on average earn $1.8 million in a lifetime. If you get an associate's, you move up a substantial amount to $2.2 million in a lifetime. Bachelor's moves up even further. So it just increases your earning potential. I know a lot of people are like, I'm really over the school thing. I'd really rather get right into a trade. It is beneficial to come and get the associate's. Ocean County College, as you know, is a community college. So we offer associate's degrees and certificates. First, we're going to talk about the associate's degrees. So we have an associate's in arts and an associate's in science. Those are designed basically to transfer out to a 4-year. So you can come and get an associate's of science in science. You can get one in math. You can get an associate's of arts in liberal arts or general studies psychology, basically however you want to pair that. Our associates in applied science is kind of designed to transfer right into the workplace, so that would be for our nursing program. If you wanted, you can continue with CAN to get the BSN, but you'd get the RN from us. In terms of the certificates that we offer, the certificates also go right into the workplace. So let's say you wanted to be a certified veterinary assistant, a phlebotomist, a dental assistant, a yoga teacher, a personal trainer, a bartender. We have those certifications that you can pick up. They're offered through continuing education, and they have them offered a couple times throughout the year. So if like one offering didn't coincide with your schedule, you can pick it up again. And then these are some of the other certificates that we offer: bookkeeping and office management, system administrator, animal control officer, etc. And like I said, the certificates certify you to go right into the workplace. They're not necessarily a degree program. So let's say you plan on transferring to a 4-year with a vet assistant certificate. It doesn't count as a degree program. So you're certified to do the profession, but it doesn't transfer over for credit, if that makes sense. We try to make everything as accessible as possible here at Ocean County College, and we try to work with your schedule the best as possible. Obviously, we are serving a county of about 10,000. So what we do is we try to offer courses as often as we can. We'll offer them during the night, we offer them during the day, we offer weekend classes, we offer online classes, we offer hybrid classes where you can come on campus and online to complete them. We offer different terms as well. We have the traditional 15-week semester, we have the 10-week quick term, and the quick terms and stuff like that, there's not any content omitted from the classes, they're just a condensed schedule. So you would still be going through everything. It's not like you're losing any part of the class by doing it in a condensed period. It's just the material is condensed, nothing's omitted. So like I was talking about, we do offer certificates, we offer associates, and then what people will typically do afterwards is they transfer out to a 4-year. These are the 2014 graduates' top schools. Obviously, we have a great partnership with Kane, which I'm going to be going further into. So that's our top one, and then people go to Stockton, Rutgers, Georgian Court, Monmouth, Montclair, etc. With transferring, we're going to get to it in a little bit too, but there is a Lampet law in place which protects all the credits. So if you get your full associates from OCC, it's 64 credits, and transfer it out, all of them are protected under this law. So that means that if you go to Rutgers, all of those credits will transfer over, and you'll kind of start in the meat and potatoes, if you will, of your major. So you start as a junior, you get right into that. We always recommend staying in touch with colleges' transfer offices, just because they can kind of tell you a little bit more about how to build your OCC career around what they're looking for. So they might say, we'd rather you take our version of public speaking, take this class at OCC, take that class at OCC. So it kind of makes that transfer process that's already seamless a little more seamless. And then the Kane Ocean partnership, what's really great about it is you can get your full associates from OCC and your bachelor's from Kane for under $35,000, which is great. In terms of the programs they offer education, they offer psychology, they offer business, they offer public health, they offer master's degrees as well, so you can come back and become a guidance counselor if that was a program you're interested in. So we try to, again, make everything as accessible as possible right here in Ocean County. So first and foremost, we have the admissions office who will walk you through the entire enrollment process. When you are a student, we have the advising and career services office, so they can talk to you about the classes that you're taking. They can talk to you about careers that you might want to go into after, or how they might pair well with a degree program. We have the Employment and Counseling Center. We have the Center for Student Success, which can issue you a 504, which is kind of like an IEP. We have EOF, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It's like a tuition incentive. We have NJ STARS, which is also a tuition incentive. The library, the Center for Access and Equality, and a bunch of other constraints in place to try and help you and make you feel like there's a safety net that can jump in and help you with any part of the collegiate enrollment process, academic process, etc. we do have over 55 different clubs and organizations. And one of the main misconceptions about Ocean County College is that people come here, they go to class, and they go home. That is possible. You can do that if you want to. But we do have, like I said, there's over 55 different clubs and organizations that you can join. If you stop any student in the student center who's been there from like the morning to the night, and we'll just be like, what are you up to? What's going on? They'll be like, I had so many club meetings today, and all kinds of other things that they're like staying up with. So it is nice to know that you are getting a full collegiate experience here. We also offer study abroad programs. A lot of people aren't familiar with the ones that we offer. We go to Ireland, we go to London, we go to Morocco. Where am I missing? There's a cruise for our hospitality management program. And what's nice is they're all just about under $4,000, and you can apply for scholarships for them. And what they'll cover is basically everything except the fun stuff that you want to bring home with you. So it'll cover the accommodations, it'll cover the transportation, it'll cover the at least one meal, the excursions you go on, the shows you go see, and stuff like that. Like I think the London trip covered everything, and you got like a full Irish breakfast in the morning, which if you know, it's huge. So that was a really great trip too. They also offer, like I said, Morocco, Mexico, Spain, I believe, and we offer them on a circulation too. So you would have just missed the Ireland one. It'll be coming up again probably the next year. They're usually about a week. They'll coincide with a break that we have. So they'll happen like for a week over the summer, spring break, during our winter breaks. Well, you can go for the credit if you want to. That's up to the student. They can go for the credit and it'll apply to a degree program, or they can just go for fun. It's open to community members as well, so if you ever found out that we had the Morocco trip going on and you were really interested in going, you can just go for the experience. Obviously, we have really great athletics teams. We have 13 D3 sports. Among them are softball, baseball, soccer,
tennis,
golf.
soccer,
Yeah.
lacrosse. And
And we are nationally ranked. If you're interested, we can get you in touch with the athletic director. Her name is Eileen Cohn. We'd be happy to put anyone in touch with you. When you go to our website, you go to ocean.edu or go.ocean.edu/apply. You submit the application. There's no fee and there's no essay. You're welcome. So it's super easy to get there. And it should only take about like 10 minutes. You'll create a student profile first and take note of the password that you generate, and then you'll go and you'll submit the application form. So the FAFSA you can literally just go on Google, type FAFSA, and it'll come up for you. It's federal student aid. So what they'll do is they'll take the prior year's tax information, it'll go through the government, and then what we do is we get your financial aid package and we disperse it to you. So the college doesn't necessarily decide what you're getting from financial aid. There are certain financial aid populations, which I'll talk about in a little bit. One is EOF, one is NJ STARS. And if you wanted someone to help you with the FAFSA, we do have our financial aid officers on campus over the weekends for our open FAFSA workshops, and you can sign up for them online. So basically they ask you to, I believe, generate it at home first, so your FSA ID can generate, and that's like the login information for you. And then what you can do is you can come in and they'll literally walk you through the whole thing, which is great, because the FAFSA can be a little bit of a bear, so it's nice to walk through it with, obviously, someone who's very seasoned in it. So the college offers foundation scholarships, which I'm sure some of you may have heard of. What will happen is first you'll have to file the FAFSA, then what you do is you submit a separate application for them, and then you're entered into a pool of, I think it's like 10 or 15 different scholarships. Among them are the 100 Women campaign. I believe there's one that's built in there for educators. Some of them do have an essay, and I use essays super loosely because they're only 200 to 300 words, and in that you can basically introduce yourself, state why you're interested in the scholarship, and thank them for their consideration. And if you ever needed help, please pop into the admissions office. I'll help you fill that out. And they'll prorate as well. So let's say the FAFSA grants you $200 or $300. They can prorate on top of that to cover the rest of tuition. They'll only cover the tuition and fees. They wouldn't cover books or anything like that. So that's just one thing to be mindful of. On here, the main thing that I'm going to point out is that 39% of the average scholarship covers 39% of tuition and fees. That's a good that's a good thing to keep in mind. Just because, like I said, the scholarships can be very underutilized, so I definitely recommend applying for them. 9 times out of 10, if you apply for them, you're going to get them, unless you don't meet the specifics of the requirements. Like let's say it's a scholarship built for engineers and you're in a psychology program, you might not get that one. So if you graduate in the top 15.0% of your high school graduating class, you'd be eligible for the NJ STARS tuition incentive. Basically what this means is that you would come to the community college, OCC, for the first 2 years tuition free, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. You qualify with your guidance counselor, so what they do is they send us a rank of you, we confirm that you are in that top 15.0%, and then you would file the FAFSA. There's a thing called HESA as well, which you file documentation through, and then the grant is dispersed. And you'd have to do it again the next year. It's not like automatically reapplied, you'd have to file for it. And it'll cover up to 5 semesters of tuition. There's also an NJ Stars Club, that's what this lovely picture is depicting. They do a lot of community outreach, and you don't have to be in the NJ Stars program to get into it. Like I said, they do a lot of community outreach. They work at soup kitchens, they go to the John Bon Jovi Soul Kitchen, they do cleanup days as well. EOF is another great opportunity, and this is another financial aid population. So basically, you would still have to file the FAFSA, and they have other qualifying criteria. You have to have lived in New Jersey for just about a year. If you're like the first generation in your family to go to college, I believe there's a GPA requirement as well. And if you fit any of those, you can get into the EOF program. It's basically a mentoring and a scholarship opportunity. So there is, I believe it's close to $400 that's applied towards tuition, and then you work with the EOF office basically to help you through the collegiate experience. So they have tutors in there, they have advisors in there as well. If you have taken the PSAT, SAT, or ACT, or PARCC, you can have those scores sent over to us and you'll be exempted from our Accuplacer. The Accuplacer is basically an exam that puts you into the appropriate level of college English and math for you. So like I said, if you have those scores, you can send them over to us and you'll go right into the 4-credit level. If you don't, you'll come to the college and take the Accuplacer. So if you have, let's say you have one of these scores but not the other, so let's say you have the PSAT critical reading score and not the math, you can send that in to us and you'll be exempted from the math portion of the Accuplacer. You would still be responsible for the English portion or whatever you didn't have the scores for. To take the Accuplacer, you'd register online ahead of time. You would go to ocean.edu, in the search bar you type in testing center, and then you'd register there. We have hours all throughout the week, and we have Saturday hours as well. So I believe they have like a 9 a.m. test, an 11 a.m. test, a 2 p.m. test, and then Saturday I believe they have 9 and 11 as well. You could really do it at any point before enrolling. I'd actually probably recommend just getting it out of the way now, so it's one less thing to worry about like in the spring semester. Yeah, and we can also issue you notes for the day. So let's say you take the Accuplacer during your school day, they'll issue you a note indicating that you were here, and it can be excused from the school. So it's nice to know too. Let's say you don't pass the Accuplacer the first time you take it and you go into developmental level classes, you can challenge it once. So you'd have one opportunity to go home, study a little bit more, come back with a clear head and take it. Ideally you would pass and move up to the 4-credit level. If not, you could take the developmental. And usually what people will do is they'll take those in the summer before they start if they're able to, just so they can start traditionally in the fall, if that makes sense. Disability services, this is another great thing to talk about a little bit too. If you have an IEP in high school and you want to have a 504 instituted, you can reach out to us and we can get one put in place for you. You would want to talk to the disability coordinator. Her name is Gina Zippo-Mazer. What she'll do is she'll give you an intake packet. It just asks some basic information. There's like a quick writing sample in there, and she asks for the most recent documentation of your IEP. So she doesn't need like the chronicle history or anything like that, just the most recently instituted one. And then there's a couple optional papers in there, like if you have a psychologist that you go to or a doctor that you go to regularly, you can have them add a note in there too. If you contact Gina before you take the Accuplacer, you can get accommodations on it. The Accuplacer isn't timed. The only portion that is the writing component, which is 50 minutes. That will get you additional time for that. Also, I'll add a note with the IEP as well, or the 504, I'm sorry. We don't indicate to the professor that you have the 504. That's up to you to self-identify. So when you go into class on the first day, you could pop in and say, "Hi, my name's John. I have a 504 in place. These are my accommodations. Just wanted to bring them to your attention." Sometimes people aren't comfortable going right up to the professor. You can usually shoot them an email after and say, "Hi, I'm John. I'm wearing a blue plaid shirt and I sit in the front right corner of your class. These are the accommodations I have in place," and then they'll keep an eye on them. Typically what it'll translate to is longer test taking time, so you can take the test in the testing center in a limited distraction environment. You can sometimes get a note taker in the class, so they'll send you a copy of their notes, or you can record the lecture and take notes afterwards. We don't do any curriculum modifications though, so let's say calculus is still a requirement of your degree program, we wouldn't eliminate calculus, you'd still be responsible for it. So a lot of you, I'm sure, are probably familiar with the college orientation process. It does take place in this room, so when you're coming back, this will be a familiar space to you. The orientation, you'll come to campus, you'll meet with an orientation leader. They will take you on a tour of campus, tell you a little bit about working with professors, meeting friends, and just some helpful student tips and tricks. Then what you'll do is you'll sit down with an advisor, and they'll walk you through how to build the schedule, how classes work, and then they'll actually sit down with you and help you build that schedule for your first semester so you're not going into it blind. And they'll be able to walk you through what times work best for you. They'll try to help you build it with, or like build your schedule with like a work schedule in mind and stuff like that. Some students have questions on how they'll structure their classes. You can take classes every day if you want to. You can take classes once a week where you like stack them all up in one day and then have online classes on top of that. You can stack them into 2 days. It's basically however you wanted to work it. Yes, so that'll happen after you take the Accuplacer, and then you can reach out to advising and they can help you schedule the orientation. And again, if you come to campus during the school day, we can issue you a note indicating that you were here and it'll excuse you for the day. If it's possible, I would definitely recommend coming earlier because the sooner you get into an orientation, you really have the first pick of classes. Payment is due within 24 hours after registering. At the orientation, they'll walk you over to the cashier's office. Typically what people will do is they'll put a partial payment down, or they'll break it up into a payment plan, or if they're able to, they'll pay in full. If you're getting financial aid, what people will do is sometimes they'll pay in full and the financial aid will reimburse them, or they'll make like the first couple of payments, then the financial aid will hit and then reimburse what they put out. So you can get them right downstairs at the OCC Bookstore, which is great. They are Barnes & Noble booksellers, and they will price match, so that's kind of nice too. So let's say you find a book on Amazon for $50 or something like that, and they're offering it for like $70. You can bring the price match into them, and then they'll make the arrangements, give you the book for that price. We send you an acceptance packet, so if you ever forgot any of the enrollment process or anything like that, it's all in a checklist in there for you too. But if you want, you can reach back out to me. I'd be happy to point you through the enrollment process at any point too. That covered the majority of my shtick. What questions do we have? Yes, step 1 is apply. So I've actually found that transferring credits out of state, they're a little more generous with what they'll take, just because they want that out-of-state population coming in. So I would always recommend staying in touch, with whatever school you plan on transferring to. So let's say you want to go to Penn State or Arcadia, etc. We will transfer out because community colleges are kind of designed to be transferring out. But stay in touch with their transfer office to see how they want things to come through. So they might prefer you to take their public speaking or their writing, and you can kind of build the OCC career more around what they're looking for. Well, it depends on the school. So again, you want to stay in touch. It's built for in-state, so it's built for New Jersey.
Okay.
So it protects all of your credits for a public in-state school.
Okay.
Going out of state or private is where that gets dicier. But again, you would just want to stay in touch with the transfer office. There's usually a supplemental class to prepare you for going, and then when you get back to like debrief on the session.
Oh.
So you'll have like a couple classes to like brush up on the culture, brush up on the language a little bit if they speak a different language, and then you'll come back and there's like a enrichment debrief, if that makes sense. I don't believe we have a semester away, no. Yeah, it's usually 7 to 10 days.
Okay.
You can fill it out at any point. I'd recommend applying first and then listing OCC typically first on the FAFSA. Yeah. And again, if you guys have any questions, you can get in touch. My contact information and lovely picture right up there. And in the acceptance packet that you'll get, there is a checklist that'll walk you through all of this. It usually follows in about a week after applying. We also send you a thanks for applying email that'll direct you to the website, and that checklist is online as well. Again, we're going to have a couple other parts of the Inlet series. So if you want to come and learn more about getting a student life, transferring, financial aid, or anything like that, please come and see us again. We'd be super happy to have you.